Hello and welcome to today's webinar. Thank you for taking the time to join us. I am Angela McCarthy, the CEO of the Earth Foundation, and today I will be talking to teachers and coordinators all over the world who will be sharing their feedback and experiences participating in the Earth Prize. A little later on, I'll be having a live Q&A session, but for now, I'd like to give a warm welcome to our guests and allow them to introduce themselves. Hanin, would you like to go first?
Yes, I am Hanin Fuddah. I am a Palestinian refugee living in Lebanon. I'm currently working at UNRWA as a school quality assurance coordinator. And since 2006, I have been following up or responsible for the all supervision of health education at UNRWA schools.
Thank you.
I'm interested in joining this webinar.
Thank you, Hanin. Caron.
Hi, I'm Caron Foord. I'm a science and a biology teacher, and I'm currently tutoring the students at the Sumbandila Scholarship Trust. At the Sumbandila Scholarship Trust, what they aim to do is identify students and select students from extreme poverty and rural backgrounds, and then offer them a world-class education in South Africa. And we're based in rural Limpopo in South Africa, as I said.
Thank you. Laurence?
Hi, everyone. I'm Laurence Myers. I'm the Service Learning Coordinator at the American School of Dubai. I have worked here for about 5 years or so, and I get involved a lot in obviously service learning related things, but increasingly projects and learning experiences related to sustainability, often within the classroom, but certainly a lot of independent type of things as well. And we're very much looking forward to this new experience through the Earth Prize as well.
Great, thank you. And Lindsey?
Hi, everyone. I'm Lindsey Lohwater. I teach at St. Mark's School, which is a boarding school, preparatory school for grades 9 through 12. We're located in Massachusetts in the United States. And my role here is as a science teacher and also as the sustainability coordinator. So I work with students both in the classroom and outside of the classroom on sustainability related issues, and also direct our campus initiatives regarding sustainability. So I'm very pleased to be here and looking forward to talking about the Earth Prize.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you, for your introduction. It's great to have you with us. As you know, one of our goals is to have students from all over the world participate. And we're very excited to announce with you that, in fact, we have now schools registered from over 50 countries. So that's something we're thrilled, and we think it's going to make the competition even that much more exciting. Now, I'm sure everyone listening would like to hear more about your experiences and what you've been doing to get the children involved and excited, and for teachers that are listening all over the world. So I have a few questions, and I'm going to start with Hanin. Hanin, what led you to participate in the Earth Prize?
When I received the documents for the Earth Prize, I was motivated for two things. First, about the topic. Second, about the methodology. Regarding the topic, as we all know, environmental problems are affecting the balance of the ecosystems on Earth, and environmental education is a vehicle to raise awareness, understanding, and assessment of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal at a community level to build resilience for sustainability. In addition to that, environmental education is integrated into the Lebanese general education curriculum, mainly into science and social studies, and in the elementary, intermediate, and secondary levels. But many researchers reveal that its implementation is not effective, and the environmental problems are not solved in Lebanon country, and also among in the camps that our students are. So I found that this Earth Prize is an opportunity for our teachers and students to acquire more knowledge about environmental sustainability and to acquire real world skills to become change makers. And regarding the methodology, I also was motivated because it targets students in the 13 to 19 years old. And we all know that this age group they are the major and permanent key solution of environmental problems. So if we involve them in this topic and with this competition, they will really have impact in changing the environment and improving the environmental problems. And I also was motivated because our students in this enterprise will practice, organize, and authentic digital technology program about environmental sustainability, and the teachers and the students will really practice teamwork and will work collaboratively. In addition to that, this enterprise focuses on the three components of effective environmental education that are highly considered for students to attain the desired learning outcomes regarding knowledge, skills, and attitudes, which are first, the education about the environment, where through the access to speak online videos, the students will be developing their knowledge and understanding about the environment. Second, education in or through the environment, by using the environment as a resource for learning by means of discovery and student authentic learning experiences. And the third component, which is the education for the environment, this enterprise will develop the students' values, attitudes, and positive behaviors. So when I thought of all these things about the topic and the methodology, I thought that it is very important and become motivated as a coordinator for health education in our schools and to let our students participate in this enterprise.
Wow. That, Hanin, I don't know. Should we stop there? I don't know. I mean, really, thank you so much, because everything you've just said is what our heart and soul is, our team. This is what we wish for all the students all over the world. And for you to have opened the doors to all of the teenagers that are sitting in those refugee camps is truly potentially life-changing. And we're so, so thrilled that you have taken this on and you're sharing it with, I think, the West Bank, Jordan, Syria, and Lebanon. So thank you so much, Hanin. Really wonderful. Gosh. Caron, I've got one for you. How have you been keeping the students motivated and excited?
Yeah, so what I did was, well, I was so excited. So as soon as we pre-registered, I'd already gathered a whole lot of information and videos beforehand. So just to get them a sense of what environmental issues are out there, what are environmental issues. A lot of the stuff they covered in the syllabus, but I think not really to the extent that I wanted them to think on a really broad range. So we did that. And then what I did is I meet with them once a week, we brainstorm, they send their ideas back and forth. I've got 3 teams that are fiercely competitive. So I'm not allowed to share any idea. They don't want each other to know what each group is doing. So I created separate WhatsApp groups. And so we communicate like that so that no information can get out to the other groups. And the other thing I did was, as soon as I come across an article or a video or even a scientific paper, because I think it's important that they start realizing that that's the way that they're going to get their information and going to get their data collection. Right. I send it off to their groups. And so, I'm just constantly sending them information and making sure that I'm in contact with them.
So that's quite amazing, because in fact, I think what's very valuable about this webinar is for teachers all over the world to see that each group in each country is teaching in a different way, as best you can, depending on the scenarios you're in. So I think in the conversation you and I had, Caron, you're actually, you only get to deal with them after school when there's still internet connection, correct?
Yeah, so what happens is, and especially when it's now been school holidays, many of them don't have internet connection at all, or they only have data in the evenings. So then I need to communicate them with them in the evening. So I've had to adapt my strategy according to that. Yeah.
And I think that's also very powerful for those who are around the world who think they can't get organized. If you can get organized, I think that pretty much anyone can get organized. So hats off to you. And again, amazing what you're doing for those kids. And they will never forget you for all your efforts. It's very powerful. Laurence, the only man in the group. You're going to be fine. So question for you is, what have you thought about the bespoke learning materials so far? And have you had any feedback from the students?
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough, as you know, Angela, to get a little bit of a sneak peek into a couple of the videos that were created for the competition. And really what I love the best is first of all, the quality of the videos themselves is spectacular. The kind of three separate categories for me. One is kind of that large, big picture informational stuff, which is more on the motivational side of things, really helpful, especially for students who haven't really had the chance to do that deep dive that potentially is necessary. And then for me, my favorite piece is kind of that middle section, which is really the role models and the short videos of, what are they, 5 to 7 minutes or so. Again, very high quality, but I really love the idea that you have all these examples of different change makers, as we like to call them, people who are involved in social enterprise, people who are coming up with different types of innovations within the context of their communities. And so for me, just as the plethora of that, so there's 7 or 8 or 9, I can't remember how many videos, being able to be exposed to so many different types of ideas, for me is a great starting point for having conversations with the kids about just the breadth of possibility as far as their thinking goes. And then of course there's the more practical piece towards the end of those kind of videos that are provided, which are of course the skill set piece, right? The communication, the collaboration, how are kids actually going to move forward, again, from the people who are being interviewed, who of course have already gone through the process. So that whole part for me, and the fact that it's very audiovisual based, you know, kids these days really love to see it in, you know, as it's moving, and not just read through pages and pages of information. So that really attracts the kids as well. Plus the quality of the videos is excellent. So at the very least, just for pure informational purposes, and to be motivated by just the wealth of information, it's been really, really helpful.
Great. Have the students said anything to you about the learning materials yet, or you've looked through them and you haven't shared with them yet? Where are you at?
Yeah, so in our case, we're a little of each. So my particular position is a coordinator position, so I don't have my own students per se, but we have a number of kids from various grade levels. So we're a little bit more independent from what other people are describing. And in our particular case, we have a few who have gone in and taken a look at the videos, and certainly the feedback has been very positive, but we haven't sat down to have kind of that formal briefing yet. And in some cases, we haven't even formed the teams just yet. We have a lot of interest and ideas, but we haven't quite pinned it down just yet. And we're working on that in the next week or two here.
Great. Well, you'll let me know on the side what the students are saying about all that.
Happily. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. So another one is Lindsey and Hanin, you might both want to answer this. Maybe we'll start with Lindsey, as you haven't spoken yet. What are your students most excited about right now regarding this competition?
Yeah, so we are in the project development phase. They have moved on. So there's different phases in this registration process. First, you have to do your letter of motivation, and you have to have your teacher approve it. And so we've gone past that phase with some of our teams, and they're now in the fresh canvas sort of phase of this. What that's doing is, with those 8 questions on the fresh canvas, it's really sparking their interest and deepening their understanding of their topics. They really need to go deeper than just a superficial understanding that, you know, recycling is a problem, or saying that e-waste is a problem, or whatever topic they might be working on. And so this is exciting them to go and find resources. What one team did last week is they ended up looking into some psychology-based resources on motivation and how to advance their project. What basis would they need to have for understanding some basic psychology in order to strengthen their project idea? So yes, of course, you have the environmental sustainability, but I think what's exciting them is finding ways to connect environmental sustainability to what their passions are, whether that be business. We've got a group that is highly motivated by forming a business and budding entrepreneurs. And then we have a group, again, as I mentioned, that has some people who are interested in more psychology and studying teenage behavior and motivating other teens. And so I think it's been really neat for them to explore sustainability and the intersection with their other passions. So that's what they're excited about right now.
That's great, because you're really opening another part of them, right? And another part of a thought process that, of course, their daily, school curriculum is interesting, but this is really life skills combination of how you need to start living your life and changing your life. So for them to start looking at the psychological part of things, that's very cool, I must say. Very good.
It is very cool. And I think that that's what this competition lends itself to, not just narrowly focusing on the actual task at hand, which is, as I said, ameliorating the recycling rate in your area, or, reducing waste of some sort, or clean water, but the students can link it to things that they are studying in their other courses in a more formal way, and start to begin to recognize some of what you would call those real world connections that if they've been studying in a textbook, to recognize that they can apply that knowledge in a new, unique way.
That's great. Hanin, what are your thoughts? What are the students most excited about right now?
Now our students are in the registration phase. They are trying to select the topic and the teachers to establish the teams. In Lebanon country, we have many environmental problems like improper solid waste management, pollution, deforestation, plastic waste. They are trying to focus on this and to select one of these topics that they find suitable. They study about it in the curriculum, but they find that it is not enough. They are excited to work deeper together and with others to know more about the global vision of environmental problems and to have access to resources. They are excited because they will be working in teams supervised by one of their teachers. They will select the environmental topic they like to work on and to do the project. They will be working online. This excites them because they will be working on their own pace, especially in Lebanon, because we have problem in the electricity. We have consequence electric current cut, and they are excited because they will be mentored by students from different universities, from the best universities in the world, and they are also excited because this is a competition among schools from different countries with different cultures, different regions, and there are valuable prizes. Also, the prize is exciting them, and at the end, they are also excited because they will become members of the Alumni Association, which aims to strengthen ties among members and provide support for them, whether with the learning resources or professional opportunities or social events. For all these, our students are excited about.
That's so wonderful, really. And I think that, Caron, you have some similar issues as Hanin, where you don't always have the internet, you have to wait, power gets cut. It makes it that more challenging, but often there's that much more desire in order to come up with some solution as they're actually living in difficult conditions. So that's wonderful, Hanin. And Caron, I was going to ask, what can you imagine using the prize money for your school? In what way could you use it to improve their scenario, or what would you use it for, I should say?
I think because Sumbandila is not a school per se, but
Yes,
it identifies so many different students from so many different backgrounds. So what we will aim to do with the money is actually use that for bursaries. And the range that the bursaries get used for is from for those students that are identified and can go to independent schools. There's other students that which we call the outliers, which benefit from holiday and Saturday schools. And then the bursary is also used for tertiary education. So I think that's what we will do. Sumbandila also does work with has an outreach program with some of the other rural schools. So I'm sure that we will be able to also use some of the money and identify some project, whether it's a veggie garden or a recycling project, which we would like to use as well as part of the outreach program.
That's wonderful. And really, that is the aim behind when the founder, Peter McGarry, had in his heart to make this commitment of the prize money to be part of this competition, is very much that, is to be able to not only learn from our bespoke learning content and have ambassadors and alumni, but the prize money to actually go for a cause that's going to benefit educationally in some way, or the environment in some way. So that's very much the thought process behind that money. So that's wonderful. Thank you so much. Laurence, I was going to ask you, what do you think, why do you think the Earth Prize is different from other competitions? As I know your school has been in other competitions, I was just curious what your thoughts were.
Yeah, so we have had the pleasure of being involved in several competitions, and the truth is it's a little bit strange because I'm not a competitive type, and competitions don't necessarily, by virtue of being a competition, kind of work for me. But they do provide a great impetus, which is very authentic in so many ways. And the truth is, for me, I've been toying around with the concept of, yeah, why the Earth Prize? Why not just some other competition? And of course, okay, obviously the bonus at the end is much bigger than your average competition would have. But the real benefit for me is just the level after level of potential collaboration, skill building, all the things we talk about, these soft skills that we often talk about that are important. And I guess Hanin earlier mentioned the mentors and the alumni piece. And for me, that potential of building an entire community worldwide is a huge benefit to children, especially children that might typically not have those opportunities. And I guess as I was thinking, I'm thinking, okay, you've got your team of students. So now, I don't know, let's say we have a team of 4 kids. And so they're collaborating with each other. So of course they hear each other's voice, build on each other's ideas. And then they have a kind of a coach, teacher, leader who's going to provide them with some support as well. And then they reach out to the university students, right? The mentor piece, which I don't think I've ever heard of ever before. And that whole level of support is huge in my opinion, because it's by people who are a little bit more experienced, but still about your age range, you know, that kind of thing, which I think makes it a really nice connection. And then beyond that, this whole alumni piece really is a wonderful dynamic as well, because it suddenly takes it through the competition and now, okay, well, this is real life, right? Now we've got this whole group of people who have shared this journey together, regardless of what our projects were. And now we can really have kind of conversations that are really impactful, meaningful, potentially taking some of each other's ideas and kind of moving them forward. And for me, that's that element, that whole partnerships for the goals, that SDG 17 is really what it's all about in terms of potential long-term impact of this particular competition. So I'm very much looking forward to it.
That's great. Thank you, Laurence. And Lindsey, I had noted it down to ask you, how are your teams coming along and have they thought of ideas? But it sounds to me like you already answered that. They clearly have their motivation in place. Each team knows what they're doing. And now they're basically, what are you basically guiding them, helping them? Do they brainstorm with you? And how do you instruct them while leaving it to them?
Yeah. So I think I just want to normalize the idea that as a new competition, as a faculty member, I'm also trying to get to know how to guide them through this process. I'm learning alongside them. And I think that type of modeling is really important. I'm a science teacher. And so we like to talk a lot about failure and learning from your mistakes. And so I would love to normalize for the audience that this is not something that we have perfected or that I am feeling like 100% confident that we're doing it the perfect way. There is some muddling through, but modeling that for the students is very important to understand that it's okay to not know what the next step is. It's okay to go back and revise what you thought was your best idea, that it's okay to move through this in a 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of a way. So we have come up with some ideas, and those ideas are just that. They're really good ideas, but getting the students to flesh out all the different pieces of that. And like I said, that fresh canvas, asking them to think about questions that they were not automatically considering. One example would be, who would you need? What would you need to sort of advance your idea? Who would you need? What expertise would you need? Who would you need to call upon? Who's the target audience? What are the financials these are things that may or may not be on their mind as they're just coming up with a great idea. Also fabulous learning opportunity to understand. I have a group, without giving away, you know, as Caron said, without giving away the grand ideas. I have 4 groups, and I think it's just really neat to know that one group came up with a business model that they wanted to promote. One group came up with a product, a physical product that they would want to manufacture. One group came up with more of an educational curriculum that they want to sort of bring to fruition using social media. And then another group, actually an individual student. So that's something that students can do is if they want to work individually. But she came up with an idea to also a business, but almost like a nonprofit. So a business that doesn't make a ton of money. So the ideas, given this competition and given the wide range of possibilities, my students did not disappoint in coming up with a wide range of products or solutions to some of the environmental problems that they identified. So to your original question, I am trying my best to guide them forward, but also learning right alongside them. And that actually is really exciting for me because it keeps me on my toes as well.
Well, that's all. We're all learning together, by the way. This is the first time we also do this. So, you know, obviously sharing and feedback is great for us as much as it is for all the teachers that are listening out there who, you know, which is bringing me to my next question, by the way. I was just going to ask if you could all just give 1 or 2 sentences to teachers that are listening who have just heard about the Earth Prize, haven't yet registered, are maybe wondering if they should register. What would you say to them?
Take the leap.
Who would like to start?
So take the leap.
Take the leap. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. It's really worth it, but it does require a little bit of faith.
Absolutely.
I will say, go ahead and register. It is the teacher that makes the difference, not the classroom. Small acts, when multiplied by millions of people, can transform the world.
Okay, wonderful, powerful. Thank you.
Yeah, I think for me, it's a great opportunity for teachers, as Lindsey said earlier, to kind of learn with the kids. And that journey together is actually a really beautiful experience. I don't know what the dynamics of people are in their respective classrooms, but being able to walk with students and decide things, you know, where really it's the kids kind of driving the bus, so to speak, is a really positive experience. Even if you don't know exactly where it's going to end up, even if you're not going to win competitions, it's still a really powerful learning and growing experience.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I think I've learned that I can actually learn a lot from the students. And as a teacher, you sometimes think, oh, not another extramural, not something else on my plate. But the way that the Earth Prize is structured has made it really, really easy. So it's not going to be a lot more work. I know teachers always don't want to hear that there's more work, but also the students guide the process. That's been the thing for me with the brainstorming, is they're the ones that are actually leading me, because I'm learning more about their environment and about what affects them daily. And that's been powerful for me.
Oh, thank you so much. So now we're going to slide over to the live Q&A and talk about learning. This is the first time I do this, so bear with me. And hopefully it won't be too painful to go through this with me. So, okay. Let's see now, what do we have here? Okay, so I have from Pauline Herbomez. Yes, my boys are very busy and this is adding to their workload. I struggle to create time for them to spend on their projects. Has anyone managed to create time? So who has a few teams as teachers who might want to help Pauline a little bit? And answer that question. Anyone?
Okay, I'll take that one. I think, you don't need to meet with them on a daily basis. You don't need to connect with them on a daily basis. I'm a task-oriented person. So what I've done is I meet with them once a week, and in between those meetings, I give them small tasks, break it up, that it's not going to take them more than half an hour to maybe work on. And then when we reconnect, we brainstorm again. So I think, yeah, I think that's the best way to do it, is to break it up into smaller tasks.
Okay, wonderful. Then let me see. I have another question from Pauline. Okay. How do you ensure that all your groups are serious contestants? Did you filter in your own schools?
I can jump in on that one. The answer is, I don't think all of my students' ideas or projects are going to be the winning project. But as Laurence mentioned, the idea of working beside them, having them work on some of the skills that Hanin mentioned, really is the gift for them. It is the prize for them. They are maybe younger, and maybe next year this would be something that they might have another idea and be able to try again. I don't think many people walk in and, to use a baseball phrase, sorry, it's an American sport, but hit a home run or win the championship right off the bat. There's only going to be one team. So the seriousness really comes from having them take the process seriously. Though, again, being honest, it's very clear that not all 4 of my teams can win. So only one team of everybody's school can win. So I think that is the win for them, for the students, is participating in the process. And again, they can do this next year, perhaps every year until they're 19. So I think there's value in the learning as opposed to going for the seriousness of it.
Yeah, I like that. I agree with you. I think there's so much being learned in this process, which is wonderful. And we do have 3 runners up, so that also counts. Okay, so another question here. Do my students need to have their ideas ready by the time registration closes? Now, we get this a lot. No, you don't. You even can switch up your idea midway. You might be working on something and then halfway through your project, discover something much more interesting and decide that actually you're going to submit that. So whatever it is that you submit on the 31st of January is what we're looking at. So you can start somewhere and in the middle switch up. It's not a problem. Okay, so let me see. Another one we've received a few times from people. Can students from different grades be on the same team? Yes, they can. So we think that's very important. And we think also that can make it more fun. You know, if you have a 13-year-old in a team with a 16-year-old and a 19-year-old, you're going to get a very different aspect and look and perspective on what it is you're doing. So that's fine. All right, what else do we have here? One for the teachers. How are you using the learning materials? So as you've spoken, you've given us a little hint of how you're using them, but how are you really going to use them? How are you thinking about using them? Anybody want to answer that?
Yeah, if I can jump in here.
Sure.
Oh, sorry. Hanin, you want to go first?
Yes, I will say we can use them by looking at the beginning to look for topics, because the videos have so many information about different environmental problems and events that happened historically. So at the beginning, the teachers and the students may get some information and select the topic. And also for the real world skills, to become change makers, they also may have some information about how to think of a project, to write the project, to allocate money, or to make something like that.
Okay, wonderful. I have another one from Ruth Perry. What would you suggest is the ideal team size? How many is too many? Now, I know that you may already know this, but I'm just going to say it for those who are listening and as a reminder. So the team is up until 5 maximum per team. So it could be one person, 2 or 3, but up until 5 per team. So if you happen to have 15 students that are very excited and want to participate, you would break them up into teams of 5, for example. So Ruth, I hope that helps you. So, sorry, hold on, I got to read this. Do we get experts to fine tune the ideas? I mean, mentors. So in fact, we do later on in the process. Well, during the process, all the students have access online to a pool of 30 mentors that are from top universities all over the world. So while they're in the process of creating their solutions, their ideas, along with you guiding them, they can reach out to their mentors online and ask, specific questions, and a pool of mentors will answer their question in various ways. It could be a link to further research. It could be a link to a documentary that will trigger a spark and they'll realize how to do something. And it might just be encouragement from other mentors who know what it is to try to create a project. So they will have that as a support throughout the process while they're creating, to additionally support the teachers. So that is something we thought would be valuable. Okay, let me see. We have a few more here. Adla Abed is asking, how can we share with you? We send our videos. So we have had some questions that come in our info about not being clear that everything is submitted online. So all you have to do is you go to the earthprize.org, you go to registration. From there, you go to the submission portal where you will create your teams. And then you will start the process by looking at the Canvas and going through each section and filling it out. So everything is submitted online. And that's how we do that. So Adla, I hope that helps answer your question. And then, oh, somebody wrote a question for Lindsey. You said you have 4 teams. How much time are you spending on the competition per week?
So we're in a bit of a unique situation, but you never know who's out there. Maybe there are other people in the same situation. My school is actually a 6-day-a-week school. So we have a school on Saturdays. And on Saturdays, we devote our time to experiential learning. And so I have created this course. I've called it Sustainability and Entrepreneurship. And we are using the Earth Prize as the foundation for the course. What that translates to is 2.5 hours a week. Now, how is that working out? Some teams are moving faster than others, but it seems like I heard Caron say she'll give them a task for about a half an hour in between the time she's meeting with them. I think that we will end up being at the same spot time-wise by the time this course is over. It only runs for 7 weeks. So yeah, I'm a nitty-gritty detail kind of person. I like to know exactly what I'm getting into. So I would say that, somewhere between 15 and 20 hours will be spent on my teams, but others may have different answers to the question.
Thank you so much. So I see we are running out of time. So I'm just going to have a look for one last question. How does one create the teams? Again, this pops up a lot, so I'll just answer this one last time. So your teacher creates the team. So they go and they register. And then from there, they go to the submissions portal and they start adding names of students and creating their teams. Now, if a student hears about the Earth Prize, they can also go in and request to be part of the Earth Prize competition, but they have to get a teacher to go in and register. So I hope that helps you with that question. So I'm just going to jump off the Q&A and just want to wrap up and say thank you so much for attending. Thank you so much for spending the time with us and for all the people that tuned in today. As a reminder, the Earth Prize competition is still open for registration until the 31st of October. So do not hesitate, just go for it. And you will have a look at our online bespoke content that has been mentioned repeatedly throughout this webinar. And you'll see that that will be a big help to pitching to the students. And otherwise, I'm afraid that's all we have for today, but we look forward to seeing you all in our next webinar. And thank you very much, and goodbye to everyone. And good luck with all your teams. Thank you, everyone. It's been a pleasure.